That's a helicopter.
Oh.
And that's what he does, is he's a flight officer.
Where's he?
He's in California. And he's one of
He's in another country. Oh my
he is
God.
in another country. And the good side is he is a paramedic and he does rescue stuff and all that. But it is kind of interesting when you have a combination police and fire. It makes Thanksgivings really kind of interesting around the conversations and all. Anyway, for those that don't know me, I'm Steve. I'm the interim fire chief here at Palominas. Interim was supposed to be 3 months, and next month it will have been a year. But again, and Eric's going, maybe not that long. And it's been wonderful. I got to just let you know that this is a very wonderful area of Arizona that I just did not even know existed. And being able to be here for a year obviously takes the board saying, yeah, we'd like you to be here a year. But my wife also has veto power on that. And she has said, yeah, she loves the area. The only issue is we're still living in a 28-foot travel trailer. Myself, my wife, and 2 Labrador retrievers. And so the
outside.
yeah. But you know, going to meetings and things like that, my wife has been in California for the last 3 weeks, and I just found out last week. I just kind of like this laundry's not doing itself. That's not true. Anyway, I'll just really quickly kind of give you kind of a rundown. I almost feel like I'm addressing the fire board, but kind of some of the things that we're doing within the fire district here.
The whole board's here.
The whole board's here. So I guess I can't tell too many stories. When I got here, one of the first things we ended up doing is going into budget. I know that that's a concern of many individuals around. And it was kind of interesting going into that, because the first thing we were told is you're down 2 positions, actually 3 positions. What are we going to do for hiring? Going, we can't afford to hire anybody right now. And one of the things that we're running into right now that I think everybody's aware of is the assessed valuations going down. And 2 years ago we took an 11% hit on assessed valuation. This last year was another 8% hit on assessed valuation. And so what ends up happening is those property values keep coming down, and everybody is concerned, rightfully so, and I am too as a property owner, what happens to my tax rates that keep going up.
Yeah.
And trying to figure
I
out
wondered about that.
how do you end up continuing to support a department and to be able to provide services and keep the tax rates down. And this last year, we were looking at the boards going, what can we cut, what can we defer, what can we do, and trying to find a compromise of how do we deliver services, and recognizing that everybody around is having to tighten their belt. The fire department is too. I'll tell you that our operating budget this fiscal year, talking about the operating budget for paying the salaries, paying for the gas, keeping the lights on and so forth, is less than it was the year before. So we actually have tightened the belt quite a bit. We talked about what can we cut. We're down 2 positions. We just did not hire 2 more firefighters. We don't have the funds to do that. So we did some reallocating there, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. We're starting to defer things. Our first out vehicle that runs out all the medical calls and so forth is just about 150,000 miles on it right now. And I can tell you, running in the Palominas area, they're not an easy 150,000 miles that we're running on it. I was looking at some of the other chiefs around in their nice Chevy Yukons and things driving around. The truck I'm driving right now is about 130,000 miles on it. And we're going to keep getting these things, we're going to keep changing the oil, we're going to keep doing what we need to do, because we're tightening our belt just like everybody else is. As we come into this next year, I was just looking at if we happen to run another 8% decrease in assessed valuation. The reason I'm mentioning this is I read into the article I always love to read is On Your Mind, of what happened to tax rates here for the fire district. I thought that the board was running on lower tax rates and so forth, and why were things going up? And I was looking today that right now we're just a little under $225 per thousand, so I figure out $225 per thousand to the homeowners. So if you have a $100,000 house, $225 is what your share would be of the fire tax, if everything's just real simple like that. If we take an 8% reduction this next year, and we get the same amount of money, if we still want to have that $2 or $225, if you take an 8% reduction, the tax rate actually has to go to $245 per thousand, just to have the same amount of money for the fire department. And you have a very conservative board, and I appreciate that. That now what do? Is we can't keep going back out and say we need more and more money and so forth. So we're trying to be as innovative as we can to be able to provide services. So a couple of things that we've done is one of the positions that we had, we reallocated to a daytime position. Imagine, for instance, if you're running McDonald's, you know that during the lunch hour you probably need more people than you do at 3 o'clock in the morning. And we can look at, it doesn't take a whole lot to figure out, the majority of our calls are during the daytime hours. So if we're real short on resources and so forth, we'll put them on during the day. So we'll have one additional person on during the day. The other, we have reserve firefighters. Reserve firefighters are part-time firefighters that come in and assist when we need them. And they were kind of getting on my case of why are the hours cut back? Well, first of all, I had to explain to them, I can give you two scenarios here. I'm going to give you the federal government scenario first. The federal government scenario is, I asked the board for $100,000 to support the reserve firefighters, correct? Mm-hmm. And the board gave me $50,000 for reserve firefighters. So in reality, they cut the budget in half. Now the other side of it that I don't tell people is it was $22,000 a year before and they increased it to $50,000. I like the story that it was cut in half better. But in reality